This is a attempt to recording this video because I had to write in some more stuff, but I have a green screen now. So lapel mic, check. Green screen, check. It's gamer time. So what is Petscop? Petscop on its first viewing is your average YouTube Let's Play. You've got the video game, the narrator, the soft cuts. It follows every convention of every other Let's Play on the site. However, this doesn't turn out to be the case at all. This is a cult horror web series with a mysterious narrator and a game that never existed. It draws from the ideals of horror, cult films, short films, classical music, and then of course, internet series. So let's dive into the question, what is Petscop? Petscop is not a video game, but an animation, likely made in Unity or some program of the sort, meaning that the creator of this web series designed all of these textures. They made an animation of an entire game, save points, graphical glitches and all, pretending to be played by an actor playing the part of our clueless protagonist, Paul. This is all to tell a story, to provide meaning, but it's a medium of storytelling never really developed before. The very first episode soft opens with the PlayStation 1 startup graphic, and the expectations for the series are set. A bright, cheerful menu theme with bubbly graphics to boot, and the viewer is immediately thrown back to such PS1 classics as Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon. This appeals to the nostalgia of those who played these games as children, and is utilised as a brutally effective horror tool of taking something comfortable and familiar and twisting it into something dark and unrecognisable. There are a few things that we can look at to define some of the stylistic techniques of Petscop and what it draws from to create such a genre-defining horror experience. A repeated idea in Petscop is the theme of glitching. Because of the medium of video game, a glitch can easily be played off as a scratch on a disc or a corruption in a save. But picture yourself late at night playing your favourite game just to relax. It's pitch black and it's completely silent except for the hum of the game in your earphones. You're going through the motions, having a great time, and the game freezes. There's this cold feeling as though you've been forcefully pulled out of what you were experiencing back into the real world. And it's awful, unsettling, and worst of all, lonely. This is the feeling Petscop inspires from start to finish. And this is why the theme of glitches persists throughout the series. From right at the start of the series, when the PlayStation 1 startup jingle glitches a little bit at the end, as though it's shuddering at what lies ahead. This is a small detail unnoticed by the large majority of viewers, but to me it's a perfect prelude to the series. Some of the other notable glitches in the series are this graphical error in Petscop 6, Care's sprite being horribly disfigured in Petscop 2, although this appears to be intentional, the game crashing and rebooting itself autonomously in Petscop 14, and a room failing to load its text at the end of the same episode.
Fuck.
Now Petscop has a classic PS1 3D side-scroller aspect where the camera will, for the most part, follow the character. Although there are three notable variations of this within the series. The first is in Petscop 9, where Paul describes...
So there's a bit of weirdness with the camera here.
The camera is pulled to the side when he enters a specific area, pulling his attention in universe to the place he's supposed to go. This is a camera technique known, surprise surprise, as the pull away, and a shot that pulls the camera away from the subject. Lynda.com writes that pulling away tends to alienate and isolate subjects and characters, creating a feeling of loneliness and sadness. This technique is used in primarily two types of films. Romantic movies to establish heartbreak and social isolation, like in Tosin Morahanfula's On Sight, and you guessed it, horror movies where the shot establishes actual isolation of a character, like this shot in one of the best horror movies of our time, Hereditary, where the camera slowly pulls away from Toni Collette, expressing her grief at losing her daughter, giving us a real sense of the isolation the family's feeling. This shot is actually used again in the very same episode, when the camera is pulled into a gift box, unsettling the viewer as the usually static camera is now being used as a first-person tool, forcing interaction from the viewer, you, who at this point had been nothing but a passive third party. This goes to represent and, in a way, summarize the strange situation that you found yourself in as a viewer and Paul's found himself in as the protagonist in this series. The sound design in Petscop is also used to convey meaning and represent changes in setting. The first thing you notice once Paul inputs the code unlocking the hidden portion of this game is that the happy jingle you've grown accustomed to within Even Care cuts right out. The viewer has, at this point, grown accustomed to the upbeat music, and it's a jarring and uncomfortable transition to straight silence. Filmmaker Mike Sprague writes, the rule of thumb is that the mundane is suddenly infused with endless horrific possibility just by employing a cut of audio and lingering camera. The bright coloured textures and smiling pets now seem threatening, and it's almost a relief when Paul exits even care to the grassy Newmaker plain, because at least here the silence feels fitting. Petscop is uploaded in episodes, 16 at the time of writing. The shortest episode is episode 4, clocking in at 2 minutes 3 seconds. The longest Petscop 11 at 29 minutes 32 seconds, and averaging out at about 11 minutes per episode. Because of this, it has to adhere to some of the conventions of a television show specifically, as in it has things there to keep you hooked. Things like interesting plot lines and cliffhanger endings. He also does things like making us wait 6 months for a new video. Not happy about that one, Paul. Episode 1 ends with Paul finding a door that just won't open. Episode 2 opens with the door opening. Petscop 3 is dedicated to exploring and ends with him finding the child library, where he spends all of Petscop 4 experimenting. Petscop 11, Paul finds the house.
Just found the fucking house.
Petscop 12, we don't talk about Petscop 12. And Petscop 13 through 15 are mostly just experiments within a house. Point is, these direct tie-ins between episodes and a few cliffhanger endings, like hearing Paul faint at the end of Petscop 13, the game crashing and showing the empty text box like I mentioned in Petscop 14.
Fuck.
Or the proprietor of the channel censoring Tool's answer to "Where's the windmill" in Petscop 10. Another convention Petscop follows is from short films. What Petscop draws from short films is its very selective cast of characters. The only characters that we actually see are Paul, Marvin, Belle, and Tool. Paul, Marvin, and Belle are the actual players of the game, each with the ability to do things like walk around and communicate through the phonetic language built within the game. And these are the most human characters. Tool, however, seems to be for the most part pre-programmed, with only a generic shape to his name and the ability to answer a few select questions. Due to the length and simplicity in storyline, a short film will usually introduce between 1 and 3 main characters, as creating backstories and developing characters is again limited. This is also done in order to keep the audience engaged and new people to be able to follow the storyline without being bombarded with information and new people. In conclusion, Petscop is an animation let's play short film television show. Web series. I never know how to end these things. I can't. Also, look how derelict my setup is at the moment. I'm recording on a couch, on a chair, on a stool, just so it matches my height. And then the green screen is blue tacked to the walls. I got this thing yesterday, and I've just stepped on a stick, and it's really